Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
This can't be.
You wanted to know what the Matrix is, Neo? It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
You've been living in the dream world, Neo. As long as the Matrix exists, the human race will never be free. Free your mind.
What is up, Gorilla Gang? It is Saturday, April 17th, 2021. Guys, I'm making this video because just like some of you, I am an investor in AMC. Now, this is not going to be a typical technical breakdown or analysis of AMC or trying to project where it's heading as a stock in the future or as a company. I hold a decent amount of stock in the company, and I feel like all I've been doing for the past 2 months is flipping through YouTube and watching everyone else's videos on how all these scenarios, whether it's quadruple witching day or March 31st when the SLR is going to rein in all the hedgies and they're going to get margin called, or it's Archegos getting crushed and there's a massive sell-off, and that will cause a chain reaction across our financial world. We have seen the stock slowly climb from 3 to 4 to 6 all the way to 801. Remember 801? And then we had March 19th, or as I like to call it, the Kentucky Derby. You guys remember that day when the stock was fluctuating between $13.99 and $14.05 all day until 2 minutes before the market closed, and AMC took a big dump on us and dropped 25 cents in a minute. And we ended up closing at $13.90. I'll tell you this, for a fact, if I ever end up getting Alzheimer's, I will not forget the last 2 minutes of trading that day. And then we started hearing about the dark pools and naked shorting and God knows what other practices and methods these charlatans are deploying to pound AMC and our stock into oblivion. And look, we live in a free market, so they technically can do all these backdoor deals as much as they want. But it's funny, once we start to try and pull shenanigans, Robin bitch shuts off our ability to buy because they're quote unquote trying to protect the little guy. Then we had Jordan Belfort's interview, which I assume everyone was pumped up for. I know I was. I was expecting that interview to go a lot different. I remember I didn't even watch it the night it came out. I wanted to watch it right before the market opened the next morning. And honestly, I think I had a mini panic attack when it was over. I mean, literally, I almost liquidated all my stock. Thankfully, I didn't. And man, I felt so bad for Trey that day. He seemed so demoralized that my heart went out to a fellow ape. But then everyone started posting videos about the Aston Martin car, AMC, and how we had to look deeper into what he was saying and the words that he was using. And then that kind of blew over. And then we got hit with the 500 million share dilution scare when everyone thought on May 4th, the CEO was just going to dump 50 million shares into the market and drive our stock price down to $3 a share again. And thankfully, we found out this week that is not going to happen. We don't know yet what the vote's going to be, if it's going to pass, if it's not going to pass. But we do have it in writing in an SEC filing that AMC will not issue one of those shares until the end of the calendar year of 2021. And just as of yesterday, all I'm hearing is the short interest is at all-time highs, and the hedge funds cannot afford it anymore. They have to cave. I think we can all agree if the squeeze happens, no one person or video or thing can predict when it will begin. Look, it's been a bumpy road at best with a lot of hype and little rewards. So I decided today, instead of just sitting around and worrying about it and doing nothing to help my own situation, I'm going to try to make the case for why AMC is worth way more than $9.30 a share, or whatever it closed at yesterday. And regardless if the stock squeezes or not, I'm going to try to justify sitting here and holding on to my shares, being patient, as I see the numbers just fluctuate between $8 and $11, with my average price per share still up in the mid-11s. Between the media saying AMC is only worth a penny a share, to the absurd notion that people would rather stream a blockbuster at home than take your girlfriend or your cousins and go to a movie theater, is lunacy in my opinion. There's a ton of FUD and doom and gloom out there that I don't really care to get into, but I know this, there is no doubt about it, AMC has come a long way in the last 9 months. Okay, there was this article that was published back on June 3rd of 2020. This was from CNBC, and the title was, AMC has substantial doubt that it can survive coronavirus outbreak shutdown. And just a reminder here of how close we came to AMC shutting their doors forever. I'm going to read a little bit of the article and what it says. It says here, Wednesday, the theater chain had substantial doubt it can remain in business after shuttering all of its locations during the coronavirus pandemic in April. AMC Theaters said a new debt offering would allow the company to withstand these closures until a partial reopening ahead of Thanksgiving. However, in a filing with the SEC, the company disclosed concerns about liquidity, its ability to generate revenue, and the timeline of reopening its theaters in that filing. AMC released preliminary earnings results. The theater chain expects to have lost $2.1 to $2.4 billion in the first quarter, which ended March 31st. So guys, that was just over a year ago that we had this horrible outlook on AMC. And look how far we've come. I'm just looking back at the numbers of Godzilla vs. Kong, and it's talking about how it earned $48 million in the first 5 days of release in the US alone. If we go back to 2019, when the last Godzilla movie came out, which was King of the Monsters, when that was released, the movie took in $49 million in ticket sales. Now, spread that out over 4,108 theaters that were at 100% capacity. If you compare that with the Kong movie that came out 2 weeks ago, and yes, we had 98% of the theaters open, but only 25% capacity. And we know a lot of movie theaters have closed since then, have never reopened. So that $49 million gross was based off almost 500 less theaters. So AMC, just with this first blockbuster release of the year, is outperforming numbers it was doing 2 years ago pre-pandemic. It's truly amazing that this company almost folded 10 months ago. And as far as I'm concerned, really from here on out, it's only going to get better. We're going to have more vaccines. We're going to have more people who are able to leave their house and go out and get out to places. People are going to start dating again. Families will be reunited, and they're going to have somewhere to go. You can't go out to dinner every night. Adam Aron, the CEO, the other night on Trade Trade's video said, where else can you go for about $20 and take someone on a date? And he's right. Now, of course, that may end up costing you $40 by the time you purchase your Coke and popcorn, but still, even $40 is still relatively cheap. And it's about the experience, right? Going to see a great action movie on a giant screen with Dolby Digital surround sound, sitting in those kickback chairs. You just can't get that kind of entertainment at home through streaming. And I think the nostalgia and experience of going to the theater like AMC, it's worth every penny. And just like Double A said the other night, through the pandemic into the future, he sees AMC going forward. I mean, think about some of the movies that we have coming out just in 2021. We have a new Top Gun movie starring Tom Cruise called Maverick. We have the latest installment of the Avengers since Endgame, Black Widow with Scarlett Johansson. We have a reboot of Mortal Kombat that looks amazing, that's actually coming out like next weekend. We have a prequel movie to The Sopranos. There's a third installment of The Kingsman. And I know personally for me, two of the biggest movies I'm looking forward to seeing at an AMC theater is number one, The New Matrix with Keanu Reeves and the rest of the original cast. And number 2, what everyone is saying could possibly be the best sci-fi trilogy ever, Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Now, I went to college for movie and filmmaking, so let me be very clear, I am not a financial advisor. I'm holding on to my shares and hoping that we squeeze the shit out of these hedge funds and get set up for life. But if not, I'm going to go back to AMC theaters, see movies, hold on to my stock, and hopefully by the third or fourth quarter of 2021, that stock will be back up around $15 to $20 a share. I'll take my profits, and after taxes, maybe I'll have enough left over to buy myself some Raisinets to go with my popcorn and Coke. That's all I got, guys. I just wanted to say, if you're out there, Gorilla Gang, and you're nervous about this stock or you're thinking of dumping it, think of how far we've come as a company, as a community, and as shareholders of AMC. Right now, it's just who can hold out the longest. And right now, if you've come this far, what's a little further? Try to be positive as hard as it might seem right now. And if after all this you must pull out because it's just too much, no one will blame you. To each his own. I'm starting this channel to help with the momentum of AMC. I'm going to try to keep you up to date with box office numbers, new releases, reviews, and the actual overall sentiment of the company. Unlike the mainstream media who is just constantly pushing FUD down our throats. It would just be great if you could like the video, subscribe to my channel, or leave me a comment. Let me know. Do you disagree with me? Or is there a movie coming out that you 100% will be watching in the theater? Is AMC complete trash? I'd like to hear your comments. At the end of the day, we all have a voice, and in upcoming videos, I will post comments and we can break them down. I'll leave you with this little speech. Maybe it will help. Love and peace to all you gorilla and gorillaettes. GG strong, and let's send this bitch to the moon.
But don't tell me you can't put together 2,500 bucks. And there is no such thing as a no sale call. A sale is made on every call you make. Either you sell the client some stock or he sells you on a reason he can't. Either way, a sale is made. The only question is who's going to close, you or him. And be relentless. That's it, I'm done.